Hello, Sharif here. And today I am feeling pretty good for absolutely no reasons. I'll share all that with you. And I've got some other things I want to share with you other than my good feelings. And I want to I want to get right into it and explain what I'm doing and how we're going to do it. Um, we're looking into, we've been looking into the Holonic consciousness, the consciousness of all living beings. I think it's time for us to look into your Holonic consciousness, your we talked in the laboratory for those of you who came to the Holonic labs. We talked about you being a colony, and you being the colony of all of the living beings that are in you, on you, around you. Um, this time we're going to talk about you, whatever you call you, the you, your personality, your ego, your soul, whatever, as the colony. In order to do that, we are going to do our standard meditation. Now, I want us to do this meditation in a particular way. So I'm going to guide you through the first minute or so of it so that we can ease into this notion of what I'm calling your holonic consciousness, your consciousness of being a whole being. Um, our meditation will go 5 minutes. I will invite you to close your eyes if you wish. I'll also invite you to center your body. Make sure you're not um, leaning or altering your physical body. Take a deep breath. Let it out. Take another deep breath. Let it out audibly. Let's do that one again. Deep breath. Let it out. Center your consciousness on your heart, in your heart. You're aware that your heart's not just a blood pump. Your heart is one of the centers of your being. I'm going to spend a few minutes listening to your heart, listening to the messages going to your heart and from your heart. And if you can start your process of coming back to center, um, coming back to our shared reality. Hopefully, we're sharing a reality. And I want to talk to you about the work we've been doing. And then I want to talk to you about where we're going with this. And by that time, our time will be up. Um, I've been talking to people who have been on the live stream or who have been on the recordings of the live stream, and I welcome the people who are sharing this on recording. Um, and people have been saying a couple of different things to me. One, they still don't have an idea of what this holonic consciousness is. They're working with it because they know there's something important here, but they haven't grasped it yet. Two, there are people who say, I've grasped it. And I'm thinking, oh, I don't think you have yet. I think you still need to work on this. And by looking at what's transpiring with all of that, I see that there's we need to do some more foundational work. You're not going to take you're not going to access the holonic consciousness. You're not going to access it cleanly and clearly if your own being, your mind, your heart, your intuition, etc., is conflicted. We need to get rid of some of that confliction, and that way we can move into a deeper experience of holonic consciousness, the consciousness of you plus others. There's some barriers and breaks to how we access holonic consciousness. I guess the biggest barrier that we've got is the notion of fear. That you are afraid of something, you're afraid for something. That and tons and tons of information out there. I would recommend you get some of that. There's tons of information out there about how you are afraid and how you address those fears. That stuff will work to help you get clear enough so that you can live in this world as a full, true, authentic human being. We're aiming for more than that. So if you get in the world and you get in the world as a true, authentic human being, great. Okay. Now that's step one. And then we're going to go through steps 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm going to be doing a workshop for all of us. And I got a date picked out and everything, and I don't remember it right now. And we'll be talking more about that on Thursday. But that's to get, so let's say you've been working on yourself. And that's in quotes right now because I'll tell you what I mean by yourself. You've been working on yourself, and you've been developing yourself, and you've been meditating on yourself without even knowing what a self is. And therefore, there's a good possibility that you've been working on a part of yourself. And I've seen this happen over and over, where people have, a very established meditation practice. They're doing other things to balance themselves. They're doing yoga. They can meditate for hours. Um, they've done transpersonal psychology. They've done lots and lots of stuff. But if you don't have an idea of how deep you go, you stop at a particular level and you don't go any further. What I'm suggesting to you, what I'm suggesting to us, is that we need to take that deeper, okay? And by being aware of who you are, you then can become a true partner with other consciousness beings, so that when we activate holonic consciousness, you are active in the activation, and you're not holding back and holding on based on fear or greed or ego or any of the other things that can keep you off focus. So let's take a look at this. Um, I'm I was just working on these. Uh, I've been working on this for about 30 years, but I've been working on these slides for about 30 minutes. So let's see whether it's showing what I want it to show. Um, so we have been talking about um, holonic consciousness, and that is an element of the one. And by the one, I mean the unnameable. Let's make this a little bigger. Um, the aspect of the universe that doesn't have a name, the aspect of the universe that is so big, you can't think about it. I just came across one of my favorite Rumi quotes, where Rumi says, "The ocean is the ocean, regardless of the drop's philosophy." And all of us are little tiny drops in a cosmic ocean. We can't see it. All we can see is see our drop and a little bit around us, and we mistake that for the entire universe. In this ocean, a part of this ocean is called, I'm calling holonic consciousness, and it is a big part. It's a vast part. We, as elements of holonic consciousness on this planet, may not be able to see the whole thing. We can see what will be important for us to see. It's not important for us to see the whole thing, know the whole thing. That is breaker ego. That's the ego that says, well, it doesn't say it out loud, but the implication behind it is, I am God. I know all. I see all. I can do all. It all belongs to me. That's the consciousness that gets you down the breaker focus, the breaker direction. So there's the one, the all, the universe, the multiverse, whatever you want to call it. A part of that one is holonic consciousness. And coming out of that holonic consciousness, there's this thing called the soul. Again, in the workshop, I'll get into this a lot more, but the soul is your entryway into holonic consciousness, into the one. You can approach this using whatever language you want, and believe me, I've looked at all the languages that come from all of the different spiritual traditions. The next level is the personality. You have a personality. I am a personality. You can call that whatever it is you want to call it. You can call it your being. You can call it your ground. You can call it your foundation, but it's the element of who you are. Um, Part of your personality exists in the world of spirit. Now, all this stuff up here, this is transcendent. It is when I say transcendent, it's not the world of your senses. It's the world that goes beyond your senses. So this personality, part of your personality is in the world of the transcendent, and part of your personality is in the dimensional world. 3 dimensions, 4 dimensions, 7 dimensions, doesn't matter how many, but if it's in the dimensional world, it's limited in space and time. And then a subset of your personality is what gets called the ego. Is the ego? Your ego is how you act and interact in the world. Okay, it's the flavor of your personality. Y'all have seen me live. You've seen me on recordings. Some of you have seen me in person. You pretty much know that what you see is what you get. I don't have, no, that's not true. I was about to say I don't have a ego presentation, but the ego presentation is an awful lot like the core element of who I am. The more you see of me, the more what you should be seeing is consistent. So if I do something really good, that's going to be consistent. If I do something really bad, you're going to see that bad thing all over the place. Hopefully I don't have any bad stuff. I don't have any bad stuff that impacts the world. And I can't even begin to get into this without getting into the workshop. Hopefully, we'll all get into the workshop. Okay, so we have this structure, and we're all a part of this structure. And the problem in our society is that this entire structure, we turn it on its head so that the smallest parts for us are all the transcendent things. Like, for example, holonic consciousness. If holonic consciousness was important to us, we wouldn't have to awaken it. If our soul was important to us, we wouldn't have to awaken it. To us, in this society, the most important thing is the ego. In fact, for most of us, it's the only part of us that we know. The other parts of us get denied. That's a really important aspect. If you are denying an aspect of your ego, of your being, then things get really weird for you. Okay. What do I mean by that? If you are in denial around aspects of your being, you cannot, first of all, not even know that you have this aspect. Let's say that, for example, this, and I guess I have to say it's a joke every time I say it. For example, let's say that I am practicing selflessness so that this self is not driving me. At the same time, I desire a Maserati. I want to drive around in a Maserati so everybody will say, "Oh, he's so cool because he's driving a Maserati. He has a non-functional car, so he must be cool." Um, Now, these two things are in conflict with each other. On the number one, I'm practicing selflessness. Number two, I want $1 million car. I want to spend $1 million on a car. Um, so how do you handle this conflict? Well, that's really easy if, for example, you don't know that all of this other stuff exists. You handle it right on the ego level and you say, I gotta have a Maserati, and I start doing all the things that one does, beg, borrow, or steal the money to get a Maserati. If, though, I put this in perspective, I then have the ability to go into whatever level of personality exists so that I can then ask the question, what part of me wants a Maserati? Does this part really want a Maserati? Or is this part something where I want a sense of fulfillment? I want a sense of completion. I want a sense of um, satisfaction. And then start recognizing, is there some other way to get the satisfaction? Is there some other way than spending $1 million on a car? In fact, will spending $1 million on a car give me that level of satisfaction? So by taking a step back, by recognizing that there are other ways that we can be looking at ourselves, by putting all of the aspects of our being into perspective, we can start getting somewhere. We can start getting a place for ourselves. Recognizing that all of these aspects of our being are important, and almost all of it is more important than your ego level satisfaction. I recognize that in our society today, there are lots and lots of people who don't have a clear idea of the basics, don't have a clear idea of the elements of what's important in the world. They don't know what love is, and they don't know how to experience love. That creates a major schism. That's about as major as you can get. And they go around interacting with people who don't know what love is and don't know how to get it. And so they're constantly butting heads with the entire world. They don't know what satisfaction is. They don't know how to be satisfied. They don't know how to feed themselves. We can see people feeding themselves junk food, but we don't see that on a spiritual level, on emotional levels, on lots and lots of different levels, There's a lot of junk food out there, and we're consuming it, and it's literally killing us. Um, so I don't know. I don't even remember what website I was on at the time. I was surfing through to try to find something, and came across this woman who was from Iceland, and she said something I didn't know, which was Iceland had the highest suicide rate in the world. And I found it surprising because um, at one time, Sri Lanka, when I was working there, had either the highest or one of the highest suicide rates in the world. And so I'm like, you know, what's this thing with suicide? Well, suicide is a radical statement that the world doesn't work. It's a statement that not only the world doesn't work, but the world can't work. Um, Here in my apartment, we had a plumbing problem, and we meaning all the folks in the building. And the manager said, sorry, but we have to cut the water off and fix this. And the water may be off for a while. Uh, and, be prepared to deal with that. And this notion that we won't have this basic commodity called water. It's like, okay, I got to get that in my head. I'm going to have to store some water so that if it stays off for a few days, I'm able to drink. I'm not drinking out of my toilet. I can make some other plans in terms of how I'm cooking or whatever. So I've got this. I have to put this head on it. Says, here's something that is really basic and important, and I'm going to be without it for a while. So I've got to live my life differently. But if I don't have love, if I don't have caring, if I don't have connectedness, if I don't have community, if I don't know how to get fed, I will suffer. And those who are going to be looking to me for love, caring, fulfillment, satisfaction, community, etc., they will suffer also. And so we're living in breaker society where all of those connections get broken. They are broken, and you can't fix the break inside the context of the breaker society. The fix can't be done inside the context. And we talk about our ecological mess, which is deep, which is really, really important. But the way we're talking about it, we're talking about it as though the fix can take place inside the context of breaker society. It can't. So we can do these climate conferences in all around the world, and we go talk, and we're not even close to talking about the right things because the problem exists at this existential, transsensory, transcendent level. And only when we are equipped to talk about it at that level, to talk about it without fear, to talk about it without blaming, without anger, without rage, when soon as we are able to access our own holonic mind, and then join with all of the other holonic minds, we're going to get, at that point, we get somewhere. Until we get to that point, we're not getting anywhere. I've gone a little bit beyond my time. I'm going to wrap up in a minute or two. So I want us to spend the next couple of live streams looking into what the clear being, what your clear personality, your clear soul, your clear mind, your clear heart looks and feels like. And when we get there, then we can encourage others to follow the process, and we can be fully active in the process that will save ourselves, save our species, save our planet, and birth forth this new being that's going to be acting in our world in a completely new way, in a completely whole and healthy way. I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping you're looking forward to it. We're going to go further down this rabbit hole over the next couple of sessions, a couple of live stream sessions. And next Thursday, this coming Thursday, I'll be giving you more information on the workshop, when it's going to be. I'll see if I can find my calendar really, really quick here. It's going to be on the 16th of December at 10 a.m. Won't be doing a laboratory that day. And we will start the process of getting ourselves deeper, and I'm hoping removing the barriers and the conflicts and the confusion from all of our hearts, so we really can join together and birth this new society, the nation of Gaia. Okay, may all beings be well. May all beings be secure. May all beings be happy. Thanks a lot, and I look forward to seeing you on Thursday.